Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So I want to try to be as brief as I can. I suck at being brief, but I am going to try to do my best to make this a 7-minute video. I'm going to try. Basically, this video is me refuting what I said about BangChan and Chan's room, the whole incident there. Me blaming partially BangChan and then blaming partially the netizens who took his words out of context or tried to find the people that he was talking about who did not bow, this, that, and the other. Yeah, actually it didn't take a lot of thought at all to come to the conclusion that I come to now, that BangChan is actually not at fault whatsoever. Yes, I know. Now, in saying this, I'm not saying that I'm going to delete my videos or anything. I think it's a good life lesson, at least for my YouTube channel, like to see the progression of how my thought and perspectives do change based on things that I've seen lately with RIIZE's Anton and Eunseok being pulled into controversy by stuff that's not even their fault, which is a video that I'm going to put out after this one. Thankfully, I still have all those videos that I have filmed so that I can edit them, but I was wrong, in my opinion. Mind you, again, I found out about Everglowup's video after I had put mine out. Didn't know that she even did one. Besides, I looked at her video again just to kind of listen to what she was saying about her points regarding the video that you're seeing on the screen right now. And I said to myself, you know what? A lot of the points that she said in that video, I actually agree with. The only thing that I disagree with was that in light of netizens not listening to people talking without having to pick it apart, dissect it, analyze it, trying to find the idol group that the idol's talking about to try to start a fan war, accuse this group of doing something that the idol said they did. Her thesis was, in light of all of that, BangChan and idols in general should not have the right to free speech because netizens aren't ready for it. K-pop stans aren't ready for it. And when they say they want free speech, they really don't. And I disagree with that. I do believe that when fans say that they want free speech, when they get it, they don't. I do believe that, but not all fans are like that. There's the childish fans, the immature fans, and there's the mature fans that know how to respect the space of Chan's room without throwing caution to the wind and trying to research and dig up information and try to become detectives on behalf of the idol, right? Just because netizens find stuff or trying to make up rumors does not mean that BangChan and idols in general should censor themselves. That sucks. It's stupid, nor does it mean that idols should apologize, right? I definitely believe that idols should not apologize for something that is out of their control, i.e. the fans misinterpreting what they say or what they post or trying to read stuff into or interject stuff into what they post and what they say. A good example of that is RM sharing his listening of the song that Frank Ocean put out called Bad Religion, and people was like throwing labels on RM and trying to throw narratives into that whole situation to paint him out to be someone that he's not, only for him to come out and tell everybody, hey, that's not who I am and y'all know me, so y'all like And thankfully he did not apologize, which is something I appreciate. But idols should not have to constantly apologize for people misunderstanding them and taking their words or posts out of context. Nor should they be told that in leisure time, that they still have to filter their words and be censored. Okay, business, I get it. And that's a whole nother thing I do want to talk about as well. Business, I understand. In business, you are being professional. You have to follow a strict script or coached to say certain things, like talking about the album, the promotion of the album, the title track, right? All that stuff, interviews and such. Yeah, you're being professional in those moments, and so you do need to follow a script, right? But in leisure time, and I would consider Chan's room to be leisure time, he takes time out of his day that he could be doing anything else, and he spends it with the fans. In those moments, I think it is okay, and he should have every right to be transparent and chill and relaxed, right? And to say that he should be filtered even in his relaxed time, I know that that sounds ideal, but I disagree strongly with him needing to be filtered, or idols in general being told that they should be filtered because of fans. Because of fans. Not because of them, but because of fans. Because of people. The truth of the matter is, filtered or not, you're going to offend someone, anyone. Someone's going to take offense, or someone's just going to find offense in something you said, and it could be the smallest thing. So you mean to tell me that every time that happens, it's an indicator that they should just filter themselves all the time because of people doing stuff with the information that's given? And that's what I mean by respecting the space. People who respect the space that BangChan created are not going to do that. People who disrespect it, and there's both people that respect the space and people that don't are going to do that, okay? So should he cater to the disrespectful people by having to apologize for what they did? Also, JYP kind of catering to the disrespectful people by taking it away from the people that didn't do those things. There's a lot of nuance there, right? So I wanted to quickly go over that and say that I agree with Everglow saying all the things that she said about what idols have to go through while being unfiltered, right? Uncensored, while trying to just be themselves. But I don't agree that as a result of that, they should filter themselves because of the fans. I don't believe that the fans or the people that are being disrespectful of the spaces created for them to enjoy and have human experiences with idols, I don't think that they should be let off the hook while BangChan and the respectful fans pay the price. So that's my whole pushback on that. Like I said, she made really good points in that video, so I'm not going to refute those points, but I will push back on at least that one whole thing that as a result of all that, idols should just be filtered and censored. By the way, I strongly disagree with censorship. I believe in free speech, and I believe in free speech for everyone, including idols. I think Everglow also believes in that, but she says that idols should not get it because of the fans, how they react. Even with the fans reacting how they would, I still don't. And even saying things like Christ is king in the West is apparently seen as anti-Semitic. So, we've got problems in the West too with this stuff. So I think there's a bit of a problem that we're having with talking about how idols should be censored, but we don't talk anything about the West. And I know that Cheryl does not come from the West. She's from Africa. I get that. So it's kind of a different ball game there. And I do want to respect that she probably has a different worldview based on her upbringing and where she came from. But I just don't think that idols should have their free speech taken away because of what fans do. That's their responsibility, not the idols. And that is also a reason why I am apologizing to BangChan in this video. I know he'll never see it, but I'm apologizing to BangChan, and I'm apologizing to all stays that I ever even considered the possibility or the thought that he, with certainty, is partially responsible, because knowing what I know about the RIIZE situation, which I'm about to get into real briefly, I was wrong. However, there is a little excerpt in that video, okay, that I do want to actually talk about, just not in this one because it has nothing to do with this topic. But there is something in that video that I really do want to hammer home on, because I totally disagree with it. An idol mouthing the N-word or seemingly mouthing the N-word, it's not Black people's fault. It's actually just the idol's fault. And she said that idols are profiting off of Black outrage by mouthing the N-word, or seemingly mouth the N-word, or probably even TO1's Chan taking the do-rag off saying ya nigga. That's the kind of thought process that gives. And I totally disagree with that completely. But recently, after the RIIZE thing came out, just briefly going over it, Anton went to see some friends, posted some pictures. And one of the pictures in particular that people were all up in arms about was a picture of him holding the hand of a girl. And people overanalyzed it, tried to find out who the girl was. It wasn't even speculation. They were basically trying to confirm, without real confirmation, that this girl whose hand Anton was holding was his girlfriend, and that he was betraying the fans and the members and putting their career at risk and all this stuff by doing this, Come to find out that she was actually just a friend who is among a group of friends that he went to see and visit, who was a part of, if I'm not mistaken, his swim team. They overanalyzed the necklace that they both wore. Come to find out, the truth is that the necklace that they both wore is not exclusive to just Anton and the girl. It was exclusive to the group of friends that he had. Her older sister came out and said that they were not dating. And then Eunseok was a similar issue regarding people thinking he was in a relationship with a girl, ex-girlfriend or whatever. And they apologized. Of course, I'm going to get into all that in another video, but honestly, it's almost like BangChan apologizing for people taking his words out of context or trying to find the people that he was indirectly referring to. Now, personally, I wouldn't have said anything about what he was talking about. I would not have. But also, I can't really fault him for that. And this is why, because I remember I faulted him for this. Let me tell you why I don't fault him for it anymore. When you create an environment where people are supposed to feel comfortable and chill and relaxed, right? It's an atmosphere that you're creating to have that kind of vibe and feeling. You want to be your human self as an idol. You want to express yourself as a person rather than an idol, basically. It's a moment where you get to throw the celebrity down for a minute, or at least place it down gently, and just be yourself. And in the moment where your mind is turned off of being an idol and you're just trying to have a conversation with people, I feel like it should not be his fault that people took his words out of context. So I am refuting right here and right now my statement, because I looked at RIIZE's situation and I said to myself, wow, like Anton and Eunseok are apologizing for basically the fans misunderstanding him, and they shouldn't have to. And if I feel like they shouldn't have to, I should also understand, honestly, that BangChan shouldn't have to either. There's no way in the world that I can sit here and say that both of their situations are different. The only difference is that he said something and they posted something. But the similarities are, no matter what you say or post, people will always take your words out of context or take your picture to mean something that it doesn't mean. Then you have to come and clarify it. But then after you clarify, people still don't care. Some people actually are like, okay, cool, they clarified. Others are like, I don't care. I still think you're dating and I think you're lying about it. BangChan, same thing. People thought he was lying about the group that he was talking about who didn't bow or whatever. And then, of course, some other things. And yes, I did say in that video that he should have learned his lesson from when the fans took his words out of context about Woojin and all the other stuff that he was talking about. I recant that statement, because holding him responsible for things outside of his control. Yes, I get what is in his control is not saying anything. But the Woojin situation, he said he wasn't talking about him. People swore up and down he was talking about Woojin, and he said he wasn't. And then after he came out and said that's not who I was talking about, people still believed he's lying. He's trying to cover it up now and all this other stuff. So it doesn't really matter what you say. In knowing what I know now and believing what I believe now, my view has changed. Definitely. And I'm not going to sit here and say that he's still at fault partially when he's not. So no, I recant that statement. He is not at fault. It can't be right for him to apologize and wrong for Eunseok and Anton. That doesn't make sense. It's the same situation. And honestly, with any idol, if this happens and people take all this stuff out of context, it happens all the time. So for me to say that part of the responsibility of Chan's room being taken away is because of BangChan, I now see that as wrong. That is absolutely wrong. I misjudged the entire situation. It's completely the fans' fault, or whoever those people were that were trying to dig information and try to find out who it was that he was talking about and all this stuff. Why should BangChan have to temper his tongue on stuff that's not even a big deal? Shouldn't be a big deal, right? Why should he have to not say certain things for the sake of fans misunderstanding and stuff? People are going to misunderstand all the time. Doesn't matter what you talk about. And the stance that I believed or that I took about BangChan and Chan's room, I have now changed my mind. I see the light. I see the light. The truth of the matter is, it doesn't matter what you say or what you post. People will always take what you say or post out of context or try to dig up stuff to try to find something that's not there. And if anything proves that, the whole RIIZE situation with Anton and Eunseok proved that. But my perspective has changed greatly because of that. I do want to say real quick as well, which I'm probably going to make a video about censorship in K-pop, but I definitely want to say this really quick. There are some people that believe that you can have censorship and free speech at the same time. I do not. And actually the proof of that is, look at what's happening with the US, for example. Censorship is becoming more prevalent than free speech. Everything is being censored. Even YouTube, you can't say certain things, right? You have to rephrase or reframe certain words and sentences so that it does not trigger YouTube to demonetize your channel. So censorship is becoming so prevalent in the West and in Korea, of course, to where you have to be so careful. You have to be so careful, and it sucks. It really does. So I believe in free speech. I believe you have the right to say whatever you want. Of course, consequences follow. You know, people don't like it, they don't like it. But you shouldn't have to, like, freedom of speech. Think about that. Freedom of speech. That means talking about anything, your faith, your sexuality, your life experiences, your political views. You should have freedom of speech. Like I said, I understand from a company standpoint when it comes to idols, I don't think they should talk about politics and stuff. I think politics and K-pop should be separate. Honestly, I think any topic in the real world should be avoided unless they are on leisure time and they're chilling or whatever. I don't think it should be an issue, but I do think because K-pop is a form of escapism from the real world, the industry and the genre of K-pop, the whole sphere of K-pop should just stay as far away from politics and stuff as possible so that we can have that experience. But people are people. Every human has, you know, opinions, beliefs, things like that, and they shouldn't be filtered or censored in their leisure time, spending that time with fans because of, you know, offending people. People get offended all the time. Are we supposed to constantly bend the knee all the time to offended people? The people are probably going to be offended by me talking about this whole situation, right? People are probably going to be upset. I don't know. People get upset about stuff all the time. Being aware of every person's feelings is almost impossible. It's almost impossible. By being aware of one person's feelings, someone else's feelings are going to feel invalidated and they're going to feel disrespected or discriminated against. It happens all the time in any situation. So when filtering is being presented as a solution to the problem, censorship being presented as a solution to the problem, I say that's not the solution at all. Just let people speak freely and let people take their words for what they are. One of the reasons why I think we have so many problems in society is because of the lack of free speech and the progression of censorship. It's terrible. It's actually one of the things that sparks herd mentality. Either you're going to have censorship or free speech. You cannot have both in the same space. They can't occupy the same space. You have to have either censorship or free speech. Okay. And I choose free speech. If you feel that they should be censored, that's fine. And I get it. I do get why. I'm not saying my opinion whilst not even considering the opposite side. I do understand why people think they should be censored, because I also thought that they should be censored too. I changed my mind though after the RIIZE thing. Okay. And when I say censorship, I mean not just in word, but like in posting stuff. So you mean to tell me that RIIZE can't post stuff about their friend relations? Why? Because people are trying to read into their posts and trying to recontextualize people's posts and trying to say that, oh, that person whose hand he's holding is his girlfriend and he's cheating on us and No. Let them live their life and stop catering to people who do this. Because when you censor idols, you're catering to people who dig into people's past, try to find something from 10 years ago that offended someone, or find, they could have changed in 5 years or 10 years. But you hold it over their heads because, look at what they did. I don't like that, man. Censorship sucks. I hate it. We're all human. Let us have free thought. It's not an American thing. It's not a Korean thing. It's just a human thing. Free speech. There we go.
Being filtered when it comes to what they talk about, especially if they're tackling touchy or sensitive topics, is probably best for their careers in the long run. Think about it. We've seen so many Western celebrities getting canceled for opinions they had as teenagers or tweets from like 10 years ago, even if they have changed their stance on that situation, because nobody, stays the same forever, they still get harassed nonstop because decades ago, they didn't have the same opinions as what's popular belief right now. K-pop idols' careers would simply not survive if we're being frank, because if they were allowed to speak their minds, their words would be twisted and they would be manipulated just so people can have something to be upset about. In the end, freedom of speech would always be on stans' terms, because then idols would still filter themselves to keep stans happy. And if it's that way, it's no longer freedom, now is it?
The reason why all this stuff is happening that Everglowup's talking about is because we've normalized censorship. And I'm talking about excessive censorship, to the point where whether you're doing your professional work or you're on leisure time, you have to filter everything that you say. Normalizing censorship brings about this kind of behavior, okay? In the West and in Korea. I know that K-pop is basically the censorship thing in and of itself. Like, K-pop is censored. I get it. In leisure time, like I said, I do not think that this should be a problem. And I think that there's a big point that Everglowup is missing in this, because we're focusing a lot on K-pop, but it's not just K-pop. It's Korea in general. South Korea has a problem with censorship. Like, I told you guys about the Singles Inferno situation where the guys were talking about how they love bright-skinned girls. That was a problem. People said that they shouldn't have said that, and they weren't even being malicious or disrespectful, but because of hurt feelings and people projecting themselves onto what they said, that's where the problem happened. It's not with the idols, it's not with the celebrities, it's not with contestants of a show. The problem lies with fans, okay? So that's the problem, is the fans. And this problem is heightened by the excessive censorship. So now censorship is justifying them being angry, because you're not allowed anymore to say your personal preference out loud, especially if it has anything to do with skin color, because people will call out racism where there's no racism there. And that's why I'm saying that it is censorship that's the problem, and that's what needs to be done away with. Censorship and fans being too sensitive. Now, that's not to say that I'm invalidating their experiences. However, at the same time, they should not impose their experiences or insert their experiences onto and into what idols are saying and the conversations that idols have, because then you start labeling people ists and phobes, and that's not even what's going on. Me saying that I'm attracted to lighter skinned girls is not me being an ist. Somebody got mad at me because I said that I joked back on someone when I was in school, and the person who commented under that video had said that I was being a colorist, whether I knew it or not, and I was like, bruh, no, I wasn't. I just joked on his skin because it was the first thing I picked on. This is what I mean, though. Overly sensitive. And that's what censorship is catering to. Overly sensitive people who like to read themselves into every conversation that idols have, every scenario, every conversation about color, every conversation about gender, every conversation about everything. And then they insert themselves and their experience into the conversation, paint the person talking about it as an ist and a phobe. That's what censorship is for, and that's why censorship increases. It's for that purpose. That, and the companies still want to make that money. So if you offend a group of people, that's money lost. So of course they're going to use censorship to their advantage, not for the idol's benefit, but for their own benefit, because the companies don't really care. Censorship was designed not to protect idols, but to protect fans' feelings. The reason why public forums are not conducive for free speech anymore is because we created this culture where everyone's offended, everyone's sensitive, too sensitive, and this is what excessive sensitivity does to society. It shuts them up, shuts them down, tells them to stop talking, be quiet. Either say what we're saying. The media does this too. Either say what we're saying or shut up. And I just don't agree with that. I know that's kind of a harsher way of saying it, but that's pretty much what you're saying when you say that idols should not have free speech, because of people taking their words out of context and doing stuff to try to make the idol's life a living hell. I just don't agree with that. So if you're not going to be filtered, and if I'm choosing to not be filtered or censored, and I'm not saying that I'm a huge YouTuber or anything, I'm just saying in defense of the idols, I don't think they should be filtered either. And listen, I know that using YouTubers and idols and comparing them in that way is not entirely a fair comparison, but in light of the similarities that they're both public figures, idols more so public than YouTubers, but in a way, I don't even know if that's an unfair statement, to be honest, because there's YouTuber awards and there's TikTok awards. YouTubers can become celebrities and TikTokers can become celebrities, so I don't know. Maybe there is a stronger similarity than what I'm saying, and it's not really that unfair. But free speech should be given to everyone. K-pop is a little different, I get it, because like K-pop is not just a genre. Honestly, it is hard to even define entirely what K-pop is completely. And in that realm, in that sphere, in that huge dome of K-pop, it's very difficult to say. They probably should not say anything or talk about politics or anything like that, or what they believe or whatever. So in those ways, I've compared idols and YouTubers and even TikTokers, if you want to add them in there. Shoot, you could even add, well, I don't really want to compare all that stuff to OnlyFans. Let me leave the OnlyFans people out of this. They become popular for a different reason. But like TikTokers, Twitch streamers, YouTubers, you know, K-pop idols. Shoot, if BangChan knows who K-pop Junkie is, like, bruh, you can become a celebrity. And yes, he has his way. Like, K-pop Junkie filters himself by not bringing his personal opinions into his YouTube channel, which kudos to him. Like, it really is a haven for just enjoying stuff. Whereas here I am over here just tackling, you know, serious topics and thinking to myself, oh God, when I post this video, I just know that someone's going to say something. Someone's going to say something. Yeah, that's basically why I chose that comparison that I chose. And ultimately to say this, K-pop being the massive genre, and when I say genre, I ain't talking about just music. I'm talking about like the entire culture of K-pop. I think it needs to change, but I think the only way it's going to change is if the governmental structure of opinions being something that shouldn't be censored, well, that would have to change too, in South Korea in general. People think it's progressive to censor people, and all it does is create what I would consider AI responses. And if that's what people are wanting, AI responses, robot responses, then don't get mad when K-pop idols don't express themselves anymore, right? Because that's all you're going to get is an AI artificially generated response, right? That's what censoring and filtering is going to do in the long run. It's going to get worse. It's going to get so bad that, I know I'm being apocalyptic, but it's going to get so bad where no one's going to want to say anything anymore because everything's going to be offensive. If I break wind in your vicinity, I'm probably going to be labeled as an isterophobe. Like, you never know. I know I'm being, you know, playful with that, but it's getting worse. Censorship is getting worse, and I just don't like it. I don't like it because of what it's doing now and what I fear it will do in the future. And that's why I'm bringing all of this to light. So it's actually less about BangChan and more about just the overall scope of censorship in K-pop, period, and how I don't think that it should be a thing in K-pop, the West, at all. It shouldn't. But at the same time, there are certain topics that K-pop's just not like built for, if that makes sense. Some people might think I'm contradicting myself, but I promise you I'm not. I still hold to the belief, which falls in line with what I'm saying now. I still hold to the belief that what Key and Taemin said about Minho's skin getting darker or whatever, there's nothing wrong with what they said. The problem lies in the fact that they said it live in front of hundreds and thousands of people who projected themselves onto what Taemin and Key were saying and thought about their experiences and put their experiences into the whole situation and basically called Taemin and Key colorists or spouting colorist stuff, right? And then taking it a step further, Black K-pop fans talking about their racial experiences, their racial discriminatory experiences, and then comparing it to the colorism stuff, like inserting their life into what was said. And that was the problem behind them saying it live, but saying it between each other because they're friends and they know each other and it's all fun and games when they're around each other in private, that's fine to me. It's when they say it live, when they say it with hundreds and thousands of people are watching it. That's the problem. And it wouldn't be a problem if we didn't have this stupid censorship problem and if people weren't so sensitive about everything. But this is what we've regressed to. And that's why I'm bringing all of this up. So yeah, I just wanted to say, I know that there were probably some stays that might have saw my video and were probably offended by it. Listen, it was not my intention to offend you guys. I was just coming at it from a critical perspective, trying to see where BangChan might have went wrong in the whole situation and putting the pieces together to draw my conclusion. And I was trying to be as fair as possible. But now I see that it's actually unfair to place blame on someone or partial blame on a person who doesn't deserve that kind of blame, because it's not in their control. What fans do with the information that an idol gives is not in their control. And to say that he is partially responsible is basically saying that he takes partial responsibility for what they said, which means I may as well just make him fully responsible, right? Because I'm also making him responsible for what the fans did, especially, like I said, after everything that RIIZE went through. There's no way I'm going to sit here and say that he's responsible anymore, partially or otherwise. So by giving him partial responsibility, I'm kind of giving him full responsibility, not only for what the fans did, but for JYP taking Chan's room away. He's responsible for all of it. And honestly, that's not right. Looking at it now, that's just not right. So I repent. That is not at all what I believe anymore. And it would be weird of me to sit here and say that what happened with RIIZE is not the same thing that happened with BangChan and Chan's room. It's literally the same thing, the same situation. I do think that JYP did it to protect BangChan now more than anything. I don't know if I said that in the original video, but I'm definitely saying that now. I think he did it to protect BangChan from constantly being misunderstood and for his words being taken out of context. I do not see it anymore as them trying to protect him from himself. I think I mentioned in the video that they were trying to protect him from himself. And I totally now disagree with that. I think they were trying to protect, and listen, JYP is not a saint company either. It's not a saint company, but they do, they're not as, I don't know. Listen, ranking companies is not my thing. I'm not going to sit here and say that they're better or worse than SM or anything else like that. But I will say that I do believe that they canceled Chan's room, not as a lesson to BangChan to keep his mouth shut about things he shouldn't talk about, but as a lesson to the fans to say that if you take for granted the opportunity to have an intimate moment with an idol in our company, then we're going to take something from you, which is the ability to have said intimate moments in the future with our idols, because you are misrepresenting what they say. You're taking their words out of context. You're digging up information, trying to start fan wars with other fandoms who you think that the idol is talking about, and you don't respect the space. And that's a very important point to make. You have to respect the space. And they did not. No. So I think that they put an end to Chan's room to protect BangChan from being misunderstood. That's not to say that they were protecting him from himself. Okay? I don't believe that anymore. So that's all I wanted to say. I've been thinking about this and brewing on this for a while. And this RIIZE situation that I'm going to talk about in the next video solidifies all of how I feel about Chan's room now. It solidifies why I have recanted my statement. Now, again, just because I'm recanting does not mean I'm going to take down those videos, because it is a growing process of learning, using critical thinking and understanding. And it shows that I can change my views on things. If I find an ounce of hypocrisy or me giving grace to one person but not to another person for literally having the same situation happen to them, I want to call myself out. I like calling myself out because I see it. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think that what BangChan's situation is and what RIIZE's situation is the same thing? There's probably going to be a lot more K-tubing this week than reactions. So it's not that I'm not doing the reactions, because I know you guys want to see more Treasure. And I know somebody had asked me to react to the new NCT group. I'm going to do that. People want me to react to girl groups more. I'm going to do that as well. But I want to focus on K-tubing for just a moment. Okay, guys? So I promise you I will get back to reactions, but I want to do K-tubing because I haven't done K-tubing in almost like 2 weeks or so. So I want to get back to that real quick. So I love you guys. I'm going to see you in the next video, in the next series of videos. Stay tuned for them. See you in the next one. Bye.